Welcome back, everyone, to our final Titan Tuesday!
On KHANTEHNT!
April Fools, it's actually Thursday. But we're here, and we're going to talk about the very last episode of Season 4.
April Fools, it's actually the last episode of Season 4, Part 1.
Seems to be the case, despite being called the final season. There's shenanigans. We'll get into it. But first, support our fine work here on subscribestar.com/KHANTEHNT. $10 for bonus episodes. And also, behold a shirt. Watch this ad. Hey kids, want to impress your friends and induce sexual arousal in your neighbors? KHANTEHNT t-shirts!
Wow, I've never been more impressed in my life with anything!
KHANTEHNT now has official t-shirt merchandise, and you can get yourself some by clicking below the video or in the Teespring link in the description. With designs like the classic KHANTEHNT logo.
Or this!
I've got a shirt on too.
Or this. KHANTEHNT!
In these trying times, why not tell the world you'd rather be watching URUCANT from inside your cozy KHANTEHNT tent?
They're a great way to support the show and share your KHANTEHNT pride. So get out there, wear them, and get into KHANTEHNT.
彼の非礼をお詫びいたします。もうあなた方を悪魔と罵る輩はこの島に必要はありません。そして信じてください。我々の真の目的はマーレへの復讐などという空虚なものではありません。世界から憎しみの連鎖を断ち切り、エルディアとマーレでさえも救うことが目的なのです。
We're here finally, rumbling into our final episode of the season. It is not the end of all things Attack on Titan.
Obviously, we pretty much called that from like the start of the season.
We weren't alone, but yes, there's more to tell. I did a little reading of interviews while we're talking about future stuff. We'll get into the details here, but so looking back a little bit, there's a production company that produces the anime of Attack on Titan. I forget exactly who these people are. They're like the Attack on Titan production committee. They're probably in every credits. They are on record as saying, this is from like 2 years ago, that they are committed, or it might have been from like the beginning of the airing of this season, they're committed to getting all of Attack on Titan produced, converted to anime. So really, if we'd read this, we would have known that there was never any fear of like the story cutting off soon. And incidentally, for the manga readers out there, there is apparently 1 chapter left. The story is right about to finish, but it's not there yet. That's where we're at with that.
Oh, sounds like something to be catching up on while we're waiting for Season 4, Part 2.
That's true. Which we have no idea what that will be or when it will come. Oh, and for the record, that the production company, they were shopping around for people. There's like no agreement that MAPPA will necessarily do the next thing or anything, so we just don't know anything about what the continuation will be. But we'll see.
So this one starts off with Zeke being half dead in a field, dying, then a fucking weird fat Titan comes up and like tears itself open and absorbs him.
Unbirthed
The
Zeke.
fuck was that about?
Okay, so Zeke had blown himself in half, end of last episode. Levi is AWOL, presumably hurt. He was like flying through the air after that explosion. No idea what's up with him. The whole thing here is Zeke right here is punished, harmed Zeke. He does definitely appear to be beyond the point. His whole bottom half of his body is gone. That I think he would definitely die if just left to his own devices. But in what may be some sort of new power, maybe this is one of the Titans that he had turned into a thing. Maybe it recognizes him as like a royal blood person of the Ymir people. He's not dead. There's no way. If they're doing all this, that means he's going to be alive. Which is fine. I expected it.
I hope he's returned in some diminished capacity or something. Like, there has to have been an effect of all the stuff we watched happen to him. But
I hope so. We've seen Titan people recover from some pretty ridiculous things so far. Reiner got his head literally chopped off at one point and transferred his consciousness to his body. Who knows what kind of...
I almost forgot about the consciousness transfer.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
That's gonna probably start coming back pretty soon.
I'm feeling the tendrils of it reaching out. In any case, so I mean that's pretty much where we leave that. Zeke, we will see Zeke in some form or another again, no doubt.
Yeah. So next we've got most of this episode is kind of just pitching Yelena as like she's kind of in charge. This was all her plan to do the spinal fluid thing. Now she's rubbing it in Pieck's face, and they've got like an armband system to denote like who's been spinal fluided or who's just a regular old Jaegerist.
Which, of course, the obvious parallels, like there's like a tier system with the armbands. And like the lowest people, like Pixis is an enemy, so he's got a black one. The allies have white ones. The people who are compromised have red ones or whatever. The obvious parallels are like, hey, didn't the Eldians do that, or the Marleyans do that to the Eldians? Is this the sort of behavior we want to be replicating as we set our brand beautiful new nation? You wouldn't think that way, but Yelena is like, you can learn a lot from your enemies. They don't like their methods or their goals, but the methods seem fairly effective. So obviously some becoming like the bad guys going on for the Jaegerist faction.
Yeah, and we also see that Yelena comes and talks to all the Titan shifters who are in jail currently.
All our old buddies, yeah.
And she's got a couple of people with her who are like, you guys are like devils and shit. And then she shoots one of them in the face for saying so.
Right, boom, right there. Yelena in a dapper display of geniality when one of her Marleyan bros is trash talking against Sasha to Nicolo shoots him in the head, one of her own people, because this is where Yelena's whole motivation gets revealed. She's just with Zeke. She is not like pro Eldian like specifically, but I mean her like god is Zeke along with Eren. These are they're going to be the glorious people who save the world from the threat of the Eldian menace, I guess. But it's not like the Eldians are bad. They're just people with a particular curse of Titanhood, and she's on board with this whole euthanasia plan for all of them.
And it seems like after she explains the plan to the shifters, we don't get all of their reactions, but Armin is like, it's so beautiful. You people are trying to do. He's like crying tears of joy that this is actually the plan. So I guess Armin's on board.
I talked to some people about this in the meantime, and I was really reflecting a lot because this is where I was really trying to think of the moral weight. Last episode I talked about the different plans that were competing and stuff, but I've had some more time to think. I was pretty pro Zeke, pro euthanasia last episode. I thought it's an imperfect world. There's horrors in every system. This one has a lot of benefits. Since that time, I've kind of been like, the more I think about this plan, the more fucked up I think that it is to force people to live this way. And it's weird because all our characters, including Armin, to me it appears to be played straight. Some people were saying that Armin is affecting this to win their good graces so he can escape or something.
That is not his character.
I didn't get that impression. He's not duplicitous very much. This plan they all seem really down for, and the big objection they have to this plan of no more kids, we're going to use the thing, make everybody, euthanize you long term, you can die peacefully in your sleep or whatever, don't have any kids or whatever. The big objection that Jean has is, but if everyone gets old, how will we protect the old people? And they're like, well, that's okay. Historia has a kid. That person will live out a natural life, protect everybody. Okay, fine. We're seeing how to do the plan, but I still think the plan is fucked and not very cool. And when you lay out the different plans here, I actually go back to the more reasonable plan of what our military guys would do, of just forming a defensive wall around their nation. Then you don't have to genocide everybody. They can live with the inside the walls where our characters live for 100 years. It was a pretty good life. Sure, people outside the island hated them and stuff, but it didn't matter if they're just on their island and they're protected from the outside world. So we know that Eldians can live peacefully as long as nobody's throwing around spinal fluid and shit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just reevaluating the different plans. But if it comes to this euthanasia plan, I heard a great song I heard about Zeke's plan that goes a little bit like this. He won't have sex. He hates his race. This Eldian is a fucking disgrace. I'm talking Zeke cuck. Zeke cuck Kong. Zeke cuck. Zeke cuck Kong.
What did he get cucked out of?
Well, there's a lot of jokes, especially at the time, about how Zeke is so down with his own people of Eldians. I mean, as opposed to Eren, who appears to be fuck everyone else. We're going all in with this thing. And I don't think we talked about it enough last episode. The thing that colors a lot of my perception of Zeke's plan is really that guy, Xaver, or whatever his name was, we didn't really talk about this plan at all, that he fucking hates being alive as an Eldian and wants to die because of his wife killed herself because they had a kid and stuff. You don't get to decide that for everybody else. I feel like the narrative is really skimming over the horror of being told you're not allowed to continue your legacy or your people.
You'd think hopefully we'll get to a point where someone is really not okay with it.
I think that will happen. We're not there yet. And the lack of a reaction of our main characters, either they're playing cool right now, or they're more down with this plan that seems fair. I don't know, like look at like Jean. Jean's just like a normal guy. His mom was like a normal person. They're Eldians. They did okay. They're nice people. They're not monsters. There's always a threat. But you know what else is a threat to everybody else all the time? Freedom. The solution is not remove all freedom from everybody. You have to find a compromise. So, I don't know, just I did a lot of thinking about the Zeke plan. Don't love it. Don't love it anymore.
Not the best.
I'm inching toward Jeagerist.
I'm thinking there might be, like if they have total control over all the Titans and like their physical makeup and everything, maybe there's a way they can like just make it so they can't transform into Titans.
People have been bringing that up too, which that would be ideal. If we can do that, that's the plan. And don't give me the shit that they know they can't do it. They haven't tried that. Give it a try first. Put Zeke and Eren in a room, have them try that. That would be the solution. I think Eren's a little bit beyond that point of even caring about that possibility. Fuck everyone else.
Pieck さん、裏切ったんじゃなかったの？ガビ、私が仲間を売ると思ったの？でも、マーレに仕えても私たちに未来はないって。見て。私はマーレを信じてない。私は一緒に戦ってきた仲間を信じている。
So while all the Yelena convincing the other dudes is going on, we've got Pieck infiltrating.
Oh my God,
Titan,
this was a Pieck episode. A Pieck episode. Just comes in, stabs a dude right away in her incognito stealth mode, has a gun to Eren's head. She just defeated the leader of the Jeagerists. She's got Eren by the ropes, but she can't kill him because that would undo all this whole stuff.
Important lesson for us. No, she cannot simply shoot Eren. The fact that she doesn't simply shoot Eren immediately lets him know that he's safe. So he's like, I don't know why you even walked in this room and pointed a gun at me when you can't do anything. And she's like, well, you got me. But then they basically, she sort of like pretends to be playing along, like she's on their side for a minute, kind of hustling Gabby through the castle.
Everybody
saying
loves
yo
Pieck.
to the fucking random people.
Pieck waves, they're like, whoa, who's that cute girl who just joined our team? And the people love it. The people are all about Pieck.
Not this guy.
Well, this guy might have a little more going on to him. Oh, is that a familiar face in the crowd there?
It does look like a familiar face.
Well, we'll see where that goes. Pieck, well, I mean, just to get to it, the whole point is it's a misdirect. Pieck reveals that actually she's like, I will prove my loyalty by pointing out where the enemy is on top of the roof.
He was right there underneath.
Well, yeah, I mean, she points at Eren, you are the enemy. Pieck is fucking great, and this was the Pieck episode, and she's the best girl. She's the best girl, and I love her deeply. There was a great little moment where she was the cart titan in season 3. We didn't know like who she was exactly at the point then. We see when she saved Zeke from Levi back then. So again, Pieck has been MVP since day one, and she was like, I've always suspected that Zeke was like a liar and was doing all these things behind the scenes because he always sounded like a liar, except the one moment where at the end of season 3, Zeke was face to face with Eren briefly, where for the first time he sounded honest and he was like, Eren, you've been brainwashed. I'm gonna save you, bro. Just hang in there. We'll be back. We'll do good things in the future. Blah blah blah. So this episode has made Pieck pretty fucking cool. She had done cool stuff in the past, but she got to highlight this episode, and it was delightful.
She definitely got to be the center stage for the first time. Really,
it was glorious.
Yeah, well, this episode honestly didn't have as much meat as the last few that we watched.
No.
I would say that it felt very much like, hey, you got what you came for. Now we're just going to set up the pieces so that season 4 part 2 can open with a Titan fight.
Yeah, that's right. Which
it's like,
you do get to.
You're watching this episode, you're like, I wonder if we're going to see any Titan fight at the end of the season. Nah, just teasing.
Well, a little bit, because at the end, Galliard, that guy, oh my God, there was another Titan shifter, one of the Marleyan. Oh, you know what? I just wanted to go back and actually say about about oh my god, what's her fucking Pieck again, her crazy ass name. The thing was that in this moment, her loyalty was really tested because Gabby is right there, and Gabby is like, oh my god, you're betraying Marley. You're such a piece of shit, Pieck. And of course, Pieck tells us her backstory, which we hadn't really heard. She's got a sick father. She became a shifter to like take care of her dad. And her stated motivation then is, I will free all the Eldians, and, you know, she sounds very Jaegerist, you know, Eren would like this at the time. And of course, Eren responsibly tests her loyalty. But her later explanation after she reveals that, you know, she's duplicitous, she's faking them, she's actually still working with Marley, was like, while she doesn't respect Marley, she's not an idiot. She sees that Eldians are being oppressed by them. Her true loyalty is to her allies, is to the people that she's come to trust in her life. And
right.
it makes...
That was my favorite line from her. Like, yeah, I don't trust Marley. I just trust the people I've worked with. I think that's powerful.
In general, I think that's a great way to live your life. And Pieck comes across looking like one of the most honorable, best people, really actually like our main characters, not Eren anymore. And Eren is not like this anymore. But Mikasa, Armin, all the fucking old crew, you know, Jean, that's what I was trying to think of, Connie, etc. They're the ones who display, like, normal human integrity. And it's, while she's being really honest and straightforward, while it's true in war, like, deception, I think Sun Tzu said, like, deception is the essential part of war, or something like that. So it's important to lie and cheat and steal when, like, it's life or death. But you want a society, ultimately, filled with people like Pieck, with people like our heroes. And, well, Yelena talks about how, like, there will be stories about how, you know, Zeke and Eren are the best people ever, and they freed the world from the scourge of this. It should be noted all the horrible things they had to do along the way. And they have a time and place in history, even if they accomplish their goal, or Zeke's goal at least. I don't think they'd remember Eren well if he gets his way. But you actually want people with honor in your society, like Pieck, like Jean, etc., etc. So just wanted, again, to highlight how cool Pieck comes across this episode, all for the sake of setting up. Jawman, Titan guy, shows up and attempts to devour. So if just a little bit faster, it would have been over. Because as Pieck said, as they say, they can't kill Eren, but the goal is to eat Eren. You want to eat Eren, get those founding powers. That is essential to the plan. And Jawman almost accomplished it. He was close, but
no cigar.
We need a big Titan fight, so it doesn't happen, and Eren goes Titan mode. And at that moment, Pieck's like, I've got backup coming, motherfuckers. And we see...
What if Eren did get eaten?
Well, the story would be... Well, actually, you know what? I thought about that. If Eren was eaten, then, like, what's his name? Jawman, whatever his name is, would have the founding Titan power. Him and Zeke could coordinate, theoretically. But Zeke is not on board with the Marleyans. These guys are still relatively loyal Marleyan soldiers. Maybe they would reevaluate, like, what the plan is. I think the most reasonable plan, I was talking with a few people online about this, shout out to Takudo, that the only reasonable plan that is actually, like, not a monstrous war crime is, like, the military plan of form a defensive barrier, show the world we've got the rumbling, try not to kill any civilians, you know, in doing so, and just say, leave us alone. We're gonna, maybe in 100 years or 200, they could work out, like, a cure. They could test to get rid of the Titan powers. Defensive wall, Eldians get to live for a while, see how it goes. This is a totally reasonable plan. Every other plan is a terrible one. So I like to think that people like Pieck and Galliard, if they were given the chance, they would be like, okay, even if I have to betray Marley a little bit, this is for the best of everybody. Sure. So perhaps they'll gravitate to that if they had it. But what happens instead is that Eren is not devoured, and we see the people coming in. Marleyan their invasion is on right now, just as they invaded Marley at the beginning of the season.
Big war!
And Reiner is up there.
Oh yes, we end on, he's like, Reiner! Now, see, so I'm excited about Reiner coming back.
The funny thing about
serious,
that is...
looking with like he has will to live.
He looks great. Yeah, he looks strong. He looks like he has a purpose. The only thing is, Reiner has lost literally every fight with Eren, even before he got more Titan powers. I'm just saying, it doesn't make Reiner look like a particularly intimidating threat coming down there.
Certainly not.
But they've got weapons, you know, they've got other Marleyan things going on, so maybe it'll be more to it than just that. And you know, like I was saying before, like, I'd like to think that Reiner also might be convinced that like having Marley treat Eldians forever like second-class citizens is not good. I mean, we know that other nations treat Eldians even worse than Marley.
I expect all of the other transforming Titans to eventually end up like offering themselves to be eaten by him, and then it'll be like both of them are souped up Super Titans with like 4 or 5 powers having like an epic fight.
That I wouldn't be surprised. I could see something like that happen if they're like, okay, Eren's too strong, we have to do something. Pieck might sacrifice herself. It's not. Is it Porco? I think it's Porco. Galliard, whatever. He'll sacrifice himself, etc. Because Reiner is clearly like the guy they want to fight him, even though he's the most suicidal man on the planet. I guess he's also strong. Even they've already been talking about the armored Titan actually kind of sucks. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a little weird that there's all these negatives things that have been lined up about Reiner. But he's the man who might get it done.
Maybe they'll defy all our expectations, reintroduce him in like a badass way in the next season.
That would be fun, maybe. They're going to do something fun. And yeah, again, this is it. This is like the last image we see. It's the end of the final season. Story's over. Hope you enjoyed the lead up. Nah, there will be some continuation somewhere.
It's already been announced. Season 4,
Oh, really?
Part 2. Yeah.
Oh, I missed the announcement. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Is it Mappa who's doing it for sure?
I believe so.
I totally missed that. I read all those interviews. I thought that was new information. That's the actual announcement that matters. They said they're doing it. Any ideas on date? I think they said 2022.
I was told this by someone else, but
okay.
I didn't see the primary source.
We'll double check, make sure. But I mean, I certainly want more desperately. I want the story to continue.
I'm about to read that manga, though.
Yeah.
For real.
I don't think I can wait. I really want to just pick it up from where it is now and see where it goes. But I mean, okay, in assessment, final thoughts on the final season, part 1. A great piece of animation.
Absolutely.
Delighted it exists.
It was pretty exciting from start to finish. The fact that like none of it could have been there without having built on everything we had before.
Yep.
In my mind, it justified everything.
A lot of people have issues with the animation at times. The CG rat monkey. You know, while it's not ideal, like it's more than passable to continue the story. Like, you know, obviously we want everything to be perfect all the time. Beautiful Sakuga animation every frame. But considering that it was a struggle to even get this made, I'm just saying I'm more than willing in this compromised world in which we live to accept some compromises of CG Titans and whatnot to get what we got. Because what was there was great. That's pretty much my...
I'd agree. And I'm excited to see more whenever it comes back, and you should be too by subscribing to KHANTEHNT. Check out the Evangelion videos, what we're currently doing. Probably going to be picking up some other classics soon. So
have a great time, you and I, watching all these things we do on KHANTEHNT. We got a bunch of OCE film old stuff. What do we got? We got a Twitter, we got a Discord, talk about things with people. We've got t-shirts. Go enjoy Yoru Camp, looking like a distinguished individual, and have a great day. And also here is a clip at the end of the episode.
Clip.